Hey guys, Melky here, and let's look at Microsoft privacy statement. But first of all, let's check out the change history. We revamped our artificial intelligence and Copilot capabilities section to further clarify the host of Copilot services we offer and their abilities, and blah 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 blah. And next, we head straight to the privacy statement. Excuse me. There you go. And I knew it. I knew it. Wait, this one. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So, updated in October, and as we saw before, there is a update history, and we're probably going to prioritize what is new. And let's go. Artificial intelligence and micro and capabilities. Artificial intelligence and Copilot, right? We appropriate technical and organizational measures to safeguard individuals' rights and freedoms. We use data to conduct research, including advanced machine learning and artificial intelligence capabilities for the benefit of the public and scientific purposes, right? What does it mean? I don't know. I don't really know. Like I just read it and it's just fancy. It feels fancy, but I don't really understand what it means. Is there any other part where it appears? Artificial intelligence. Microsoft leverages the power of artificial intelligence in many of our products, including by incorporating generative Copilot capabilities. Microsoft deployment and use of AI is subject to Microsoft's AI principles and Microsoft's responsible AI standards. Right? Okay, so we know there are problems with the AI, copyright in particular, intellectual property in general. Now that we know that, I think Grok by X or Elon Musk is one of the AI first that is introduced that's going to have like research capabilities and follow suit like of also like the other AIs, and there are definitely like scientific AI that is made for scientists. It is interesting, and knowing that we are going to have some attribution issue. Obviously, if you want to make scientific research, scientific paper, you got to attribute contributors because you're not really like meeting them face on. You just take their papers and then build up based on their works. So attribution is pretty important, guys, because your works, uh, it is nice and it is imperative to have your works being within the elements of other people's work is going to be distinct and it's going to be classified as yours, and therefore if it's being misused or if it is not rewarding enough for you, it is something that you could answer to, and that's one of the reasons why. And another issue would be um, obviously like AI is could be this indiscriminate in terms of getting their sources from, because as scientists you would want to be you're held responsible in terms of picking and choosing and not taking your sources from shady sources like piracy sources. But AI just crawls all of the internet, including the piracy sites, right? That could be a problem if the AI is not really distinctive, it's not doesn't have discretion, to filter out all of those sources, like, and then right? And then Microsoft responsible AI standard and Microsoft's collection and use of personal data in developing and deploying AI features. It is interesting that personal data could be involved in AI generation, So, for example, you created a face of a girl. Has AI been taking from a private life of a customer? Customer is not giving consent that his photo or her photos would be used uh, for the public, for the benefit of the public, or for the leisurement, for the satisfaction of the public. Like she would probably only want to save her beauty for the person that she loved the most. But because AI is really good at it, when she's probably experimenting with makeup and stuff and she was successful, at the end of the day, her boyfriend probably not the first person who experienced her ingenuity. It's probably someone who is generating something from AI. What is that? You can find out more about the tools, practice, and policies Microsoft has created to uphold our responsible AI principles here. Copilot, by the way, is a family of services, products, and solutions. So basically, do you remember 2008 where we have like banking collapse, right? It is because of the subprime mortgage, right? Do you remember that? Where they bundle up all of the bad stuff together with the good stuff to create the B rating stuff. Okay, probably, what are we looking at here? Copilot is a family of services, products, and solutions. What are we talking about here? And that leverage generative AI technologies to generate outputs. Microsoft's collection and use of data may differ depending on the service and the intended functionality in a given scenario. Learn more. I'm sorry, guys. I was focusing on my accent a little bit more. Sorry for being annoying, but we got like depending on the surface and the intended functionality. Is it like, but it doesn't really depend on the author's interest. And I think as a human being, that is where maybe only in a short period of time, maybe advanced AI would be able to do that. But while AI is not being able to do that, what we can do is to be able to properly attribute and properly reward people. The Microsoft Copilot website, and we're going to move on into the more artificial intelligence and Copilot capabilities. We're gonna it is all here. Okay, I'm sorry about that. And let's go with text, images, songs, and outputs. Engage in features like Copilot Vision. Interact with other apps, services, and websites. And then in some markets, Copilot can use your prior conversation history to better personalize the product for you, which begs the question, if Copilot can use it for you, could Copilot use it for the benefit of the master user, the one who could unlock Copilot? We cannot unlock Copilot and use other people's data, while using Copilot. But Copilot could access all of the data that he could access and provide it to somebody with admin access, right? And I wonder whether your personal personal interaction with Copilot is usable by this admin person. Of course, of course they could. It's of course, yes. You can opt out of personalization at any time. Microsoft Copilot, but I don't know. We are reading the policy here. Legally speaking, maybe that they would say no to that. Okay, I don't know about that. I mean, in terms of capabilities, of course. In terms of the technology, of course. I'm not saying it's legal to do so. I'm not saying that they are doing so unethically. I'm not saying that they are definitely being unethical, but I'm talking about technology wise. Is it doable? I think yes, definitely yes. And then after that, in some markets, Microsoft Copilot can use your prior conversation history to better personalize the product. Microsoft blah blah blah, and then Microsoft Copilot also uses your prompts and related information to provide and improve, and then blah blah blah, including to provide relevant advertising. You can manage your prop history in product and on the Microsoft privacy dashboard if signed in, blah, blah, blah. And for more information, please visit the Microsoft Copilot FAQ. Microsoft will only use your conversation to monitor performance, troubleshoot problems, diagnose bugs, prevent abuse, and to provide and improve Microsoft Copilot. Right? What does this mean? Provide and improve. I could say, like, yo, I am the architect, and by improving myself, I would be able to improve my creation, which is Copilot, right? In certain markets, we use conversation data to train the generative AI models in Copilot, right? Unless you choose to opt out of such training. More information about how your data is protected and the controls we offer in Microsoft Copilot is available here. I'm not gonna focus. Not gonna distract myself, guys. It is an extensive document. I got a lot to go through, and we all should have a lot to go through. We also take measures to ensure that content we show you is safe. You can learn more about our approach to safety in our transparency note for Microsoft Copilot. So a lot of sub documents, and if you don't read these sub documents, right? If there's a dispute, they could just say, "Why didn't you read these sub documents, guys? It has been provided. We had provided all of this information, right? You just don't want to go through it. I mean, bro, I just want to I just want to check out music, some music. I just want to check out some books, right? Why do I have to read more text than the thing that I want to enjoy, that I want to consume? What is happening right here? And then after that, Microsoft will only use your Microsoft Copilot conversation to monitor performance, troubleshoot problems, diagnose bugs, prevent abuse, and to provide and improve Microsoft Copilot. In certain markets, we use conversation data to train and the generative AI models in Copilot unless you choose to opt out. More information about how your data is protected and the controls we offer in Copilot is available here. Microsoft Copilot appears as an assistant within other Microsoft consumer products such as Microsoft Edge and Xbox. In those situations, data processing align with those products' primary uses. So, but on the other hand, guys, it is nice. You know, you don't get this from other services. They're just going to use your data whatever they want, however they want, right? But we have Microsoft here being open about everything, a lot of things, to the point that we lost interest in reading everything. But that is on one side. That is why you would want to use services such as Google, Microsoft, Facebook, things that are popular right there, like that, because our government bothered to scrutinize them. Now, all of these spread out services and stuff, like I think as a responsible citizen, we gotta be Karen sometimes, right? Being Karen is not always bad. Sometimes being Karen helpful. A lot of times, probably not most of the time, but a lot of times, being Karen could be helpful. And I think when we want some mesh topology, not centralized government and centralized everything, our life is centralized to just few people that owns the monopoly. We got to be able to figure out how to live in a mesh topology where just regular people probably have access to our data, like some women that are somebody else's wives, not your wife, gossips about you from your wives, giving away your private data to these people. And you got to be able to maneuver around this thing, because we have been doing this for a lot of times, but now we can enhance and have this thing going on in a much faster pace and in a more damaging ways to our own reputation and to a lot of people's reputation. I guess there's a balance here, because everybody is subject to this. And I would prefer more decentralized model, but I also prefer being able to read the policies, being able to like for people to be able to be subjected to this level of discipline, this level of scrutiny when handling other people's information. And I think it is great that Microsoft is pioneering something like this. Not only Microsoft, but also centralized service such as uh, like Yahoo Mail, even included Yahoo Mail, and all of the other monopolistic services. They are, as product of scrutiny of our government, had issued a lot of good things. So like, I mean, bad things are catchy and it seems like they are everywhere, but it doesn't mean that things that are not obvious and that are not popular is not happening like 90% of the time. Okay, I'm talking a lot. Then Microsoft 365 Copilot is a consumer copilot offering that provides access to the very latest models, improved image creation abilities, and access to Copilot in Microsoft 365. Copilot functionality is included in Microsoft 365 Family, Microsoft 365 Personal Subscription. When Copilot is integrated with Microsoft 365 products, Copilot data collection is consistent with how data collection is used and use is described in the productivity communications section of this privacy statement. Microsoft 365 Copilot also available for Microsoft 365 enterprise offerings, provides enterprise grade data protection along with access to the corporate graph, Copilot within Microsoft 365 and Teams, and additional customization features. Data collection and use in Microsoft 365 Copilot is consistent with the practices described in the enterprise and developer products section of this privacy statement. What does it mean? All of these things are just references to references and cross references. I mean, where is the content? I don't know. And then enterprise and developer products. Enterprise developer, definitely, like if your lawyer reads this thing, they could extract that matters faster than me, obviously. Enterprise and developer products are Microsoft products and related software offered to and designed primarily for use by organizations and developers. They include cloud services referred to as online services in terms such as Microsoft 365 and Office 365, Microsoft Azure, Dynamics 365, and Intune, for which an organization contracts with Microsoft for the services, enterprise online services, contracts with Microsoft. All right. So these are paid things. The reason why enterprise thing is interesting in here, because I look at the update. Okay, this second update. We removed references to Copilot Pro in our privacy statement, as its function is covered by Microsoft 365 Copilot offerings. All right. So I asked Copilot, yo, Copilot, why did Microsoft remove Copilot Pro in their privacy statement? And then Copilot say, because these services now is being made available in general, right? Generally in Copilot. So I'm like, wow, that is nice. Like, so what used to be, but on the other hand, like if people paid for some bundle that includes Copilot Pro, I guess it would be a little bit less of a privilege. It's kind of reduced the privileged status having a Copilot Pro for this paying customer. So that is also a plus and minus. However, I guess if like there are things that are actually very accessible in nature, putting a high price of it is gatekeeping and could be unnecessary. So being exposed to products that are being gatekept unnecessarily, it's not exactly being exposed to ingenuity, right? It's just you're being exposed to force, just the force, the power force of being able to block something away from other people. Not always good, guys. It's good when it's your property, your rights, ownership. Talking about privacy also is being one of them. Of course, being able to keep your information that is sourced from you to yourself only or to the people that you love only means being exposed to properness and liberation. That is a good thing. But sometimes, when you provide a service to paying customers, such as general population that paid for Windows 11, and you keep them from the service that like, it would be nice for people who paid that much to receive, and you reserve that for higher paying customer. It's like, you are gatekeeping rice from people who paid for the price of rice. So that is also an issue. I'm not saying that this is what is happening here. It is just an angle that I could approach it from. Like one of the reason why Microsoft think, "Oh, you know what, let's go with just liberates Copilot for a lot of people." But on the other hand, am I saying that Copilot is cheap? No, I don't think so, because people who subscribe to Windows 11 not only subscribe with their money, but also with their information. I think it's valuable, and I think it could be. I personally feel like it would be nice and appropriate to have to say that they deserve copilots, all of these pro features that previously were pro features. We update a lot. So now we're back at enterprise, and we're gonna move on from enterprise and developer products, and goes to we update to Bing. We updated our Bing section to clarify Microsoft Copilot in Bing is now Copilot Search. But why is it? Why do you put it in privacy? In that co. So let's see. Bing now includes AI enhanced website Copilot Search, which supports users by reviewing and summarizing search results from across the web, and sparking creativity by helping users create content. Copilot search use and collection of personal data is consistent with Bing's core web search offering as described in this section. Learn more about Copilot search here. Okay, so what I say about this? It is weird. It is like when you search, you also create an art. I don't know, probably somebody in YouTube, who covers Bing and its new features. If you watch their videos, you would understand, but I haven't watched those videos. Um, maybe that would be helpful. So the last update in October, we added information to our Windows section about Circle to Act, a service offered by PC Manager in selected markets. Circle to Act. Circle Circle to Egg is a service offered by PC Manager for selected markets, featuring tools such as screenshot tool, text extraction, translation, and smart copy. To enable the smart copy features, screenshots you upload during use may be processed by Microsoft in data centers located outside of your location for the text extraction and translation features. Screenshots captured during use will be transmitted to Microsoft Azure, operated and maintained by Microsoft or our local operation partners within your region. These screenshots are processed locally and results are returned to you upon completion. Microsoft does not retain any image or text data you submit or the results provided except where required to comply with legal obligations. I am not the most concerned about Microsoft retaining the image. At this point, guys, it is nice if Microsoft retain the image or text data because we have these third party, like these third party contractors, um, that is in a different country. Does it say third party contractors or Microsoft subsidiaries? Uh, Data centers. It is in data centers located outside of your location. Now, when we are dealing with data being transferred to a different location, guys, we're probably going to be dealing also with service providers that are supposed to be processing those data in that location. So why else would you transfer some raw materials, in this case data, to a different place? That is to be processed there, right? And if you're Microsoft, it's a digital data. Why are you processing a digital data, right? In a in a different place, why not local? So there's got to be, like for example, data centers, maybe it's easier, the energy price are cheaper, but what that also means is that it is being processed not locally but processed by international people. And it is, I'm not saying that this section uh, definitely says to you that they're using third party processor, but for sure they're using international staff members. And if you read other parts of the privacy section, I think third parties, most of privacy section would have a clause that that would that would protect them from you objecting for your data to be processed by party providers, because they would use third party providers. And like, if you know that and then you see this international transfer of data, then you would also know that that section also protects this international transfer of data. Windows, that that is connected, like that phrase for third party outsourcing, that you knew that it is going to be processed by the third party providers. It is also going to apply to your data being taken to that country. Windows search lets you search your stuff, but we don't know, right? We don't know this one. This one could be very specific. If you choose to use Windows Search to search your stuff, it will provide a result for items in your personal OneDrive. Your OneDrive for Business is, if so enabled, other cloud storage providers to the extent supported by those third-party providers and on your device. What does it mean? Other cloud storage providers. Uh, other cloud source and on your device. If you choose to use Windows Search, your search result will be powered by Bing. Maybe it is a GUI interaction. For Xbox, uh, it's about third-party verification provider. So maybe your Google Authenticator, something like that. And then after that, Xbox data viewable by others. Of course, when you play games, your names are going to be exposed. Xbox data shared with third parties. Let's not go to Xbox. Like, I want to see what is general. Um, we receive data from Microsoft affiliates, subsidiaries, and third parties that is receiving, not giving data. Interactions with bots and skills available through Microsoft products, including bots and skills provided by third parties. Excuse me, there's a bug. Okay. D- Pound. There's literal insect. Data about your use of Microsoft products in some cases, such as search queries. What is this? The data we collect depends on the context of your interactions with Microsoft and the choices you make. The data we collect can include both usage data. Okay, so that is still data collection. When we process personal data about you, we do all consent. When we process personal data based on our or a third party's legitimate interests, that is still not giving away data to third party. No, we share your personal data with your consent or as necessary any transaction or provide any product you have requested or authorized. For example, we share your content with third parties when you tell us to do so. Send an email, share photos and documents on OneDrive. I think that is not the issue. Accordingly, Microsoft may send data to an external third-party notification provider to deliver push notification, maybe like your phone's provider, like iPhone and Samsung. That is not the issue that I was looking for. We may then share this information with third-party advertising platforms. Now, this is one of those things. We also share personal data for digital advertising. When you visit a website, the digital property may allow Microsoft to access and receive device data or certain other data. We may then share this information with third party advertising platforms and advertisers. Right. I mean, this is like common practice, right? But what I was looking for is like giving away data for their lawyers, for their accountants, and maybe for their IT third party provider. Please note that some of our products include links to or otherwise enable you to access products of third parties whose privacy practices differ. We still have a lot to go. It's gonna take a while. Third-party cookies in Bing, that is also one concern. Where's the, but I want a highlight. Where is it? Microsoft account, signing to third party products, work or school third party accounts. Uh, this is it. This is what's related to it. In the bulleted list below, we outline the personal data we collect, the sources of the personal data, our purposes of processing, and the categories of third party recipients with whom we provide your personal data. For a description of the data included in each category, please see the personal data we collect section. As referenced in the reasons we share personal data section, we also disclose this data among Microsoft controlled affiliates and subsidiaries. Please see our retention of personal data section. Categories of personal data, these name, credential, demography, video, interactions. Wow, that's a lot. And if we look deeper, we could probably catch like maybe your Zoom call. I don't know. It's not Zoom. It's Skype call or something like that. Uh, like your private communication or your business communication. It is something that you license because you use Microsoft software in order to do that. You should license. I mean, it's reasonable. But then, is it something that you would share to third party? While the bullet list above contains the primary source and purposes of processing for each category of personal data, we also collect personal data from the sources listed in the personal data we collect section. And there's this sensitive data like your credit card or debit card number. Of course, Microsoft would catch that as well if you do internet transaction, geolocation, racial or ethnic origin. It's something that, because of advertising, advertisers would probably want to target specific demography, and these service providers is going to provide that service because there's a demand to it. Medical or mental health, sexual orientation, sex life. So if like maybe like sex toy makers want to advertise to only only a few people, not everyone, like they would kind of be able to do that with Microsoft, I guess. Content of your mail, email, or text messages, sources of sensitive data, interaction with the products, purposes of processing, collection, and disclosure to third parties, provide our products, improve the product. Wow, this is, wait, what happened here? Contents of your mail, email, sources, yeah, you, and then purpose of processing, collection, and disclosure to third parties. Am I reading this correctly? Oh, okay. Purposes of processing. I read it wrong. My bad. Provide our products, improve the product safety, and help secure and troubleshoot. Okay, I see. Not the purpose is to collect and disclose, but the purpose is to provide. Okay. Personal data collected from a known child under 13 to provide our products and to give data, I think, to service providers, user directed entities for in accordance with your Microsoft family safety settings. While the bulleted list above contains the primary sources and purposes of processing for personal data collected from children under 13, we also collect personal data from the sources listed in the collection of data from children section. We do not use or disclose your sensitive data for purposes other than perform the services, help ensure the security and integrity of our services for short-term transient use, uh, as the personal data. Here it is, at last, man, at last. So long as the personal data is not disclosed to a third party, is not used for profiling, and is not used to alter an individual's experience outside the current interaction with Microsoft. So Microsoft provides aggregated data to third party, whoever that is, like ad paying customer, like service providers and stuff. So data is being taken to a different country, and it's like it says here in this section. It is kind of not used for profiling. Your personal data is being handed over, but it is not used for profiling. But it's still your data is being used to be able to perform basic, basic services. Now, knowing that, guys, knowing that thing, we always have to have that at the back of our mind, that uh, having a centralized service providers, it is always they always going to use third party service providers such as lawyers and accountants. At least they're going to access some data from the company to perform their jobs. And and no, you got to know that these accountants, this legal, and maybe some IT providers or customer service phone problem solver, people like that is going to have some access to your data in one way or another. So in this privacy section right here, in this October update, Windows added information to our Windows section about Circle to Act, a service offered by PC Manager in selected markets. And if we go back, wait, let me finish this section before we go back. The identified data may process the identified data, not profiling. Disclosure of personal data for business or commercial purposes. We share personal data with third parties for various business and commercial purposes. The primary business and commercial purposes, uh, the everything is listed in a table above, reference after reference after reference again. It's really not straightforward, and it's annoying that it is not user friendly to monitor your own data. However, we share all categories of personal data for the business and commercial purposes in the reasons we share personal data section. In certain situation, we may allow a third party to control the collection of your personal data. uh, for example, third-party applications or extensions that run on Windows or Edge browser may collect personal data based on their own practices. Microsoft allows advertising companies to collect information about your interactions with our websites in order to deliver personalized ads on Microsoft's behalf. You can view our third-party ad partners, who are departments, and US state data privacy laws notice and opt out of data sharing with third parties at our opt out page. We're going to back circle to these screenshots. Microsoft does not retain any image or text data you submit except where required to comply with legal obligations. Server applications data center. Microsoft maintains major data centers in Austria, Brazil, Canada, Finland, France, Germany, Hong Kong, India, Ireland, Japan, Korea, Luxembourg, Malaysia, and Netherlands. Singapore, South Africa, South Africa, and United Kingdom and the United States. Typically, the primary storage location is in the customer's region or in the United States, often with a backup to a data center in another region. The storage locations are chosen in order to operate and provide our services efficiently, improve performance, and create redundancies in order to protect the data in the event of an outage or other problem. We take steps to process the data that we collect under this privacy statement according to this statement's provisions and the requirements of applicable law. We transfer personal data from their country of original collection to other countries, some of which have not yet been determined by the European Commission or other applicable data protection authority in your area to have an adequate level of data protection. For example, their laws may not guarantee you the same rights, or there may not be a privacy supervisory authority there that is capable of addressing your complaints. When we transfer personal data to other countries, we use a variety of legal mechanisms and safeguards, including contracts such as the standard contractual clauses published by the European Commission under Commission Implementing Decisions 2021/914 to help protect your rights and enable this protection to travel with your data. To learn more about the European Commission's decision on the adequacy of the protection of personal data in the countries where Microsoft processes personal data, see this article on the European Commission website. Please refer to the Reasons We Share Personal Data section for more information on Microsoft's sharing of data, which include when we transfer data to another country. Microsoft Corporation complies with EU US Data Privacy Framework, the UK extension to the EU US DPF, and Swiss US Data Privacy Framework as set forth by the US Department of Commerce. Right. Um, so have you ever heard of data brokers, guys? They collect data from all over the world in order to be able to be sold to advertisers, for example, maybe a country, a government maybe would want to have those data, maybe a statistical organization, non-profit um, statistical mission, um, like they want to know whether the global warming has effect in terms of health level of people. So because Microsoft or some applications have access to your heartbeat rates, they could kind of figure out, how the change of brightness of the sun would in on average changes the heartbeat rate of human beings. you know so data brokers can do something like that, and it's like we see this service provider, Microsoft in particular, have applied all of these terms and conditions so that we the people would be able to be informed, even though it is pretty hard, to extract immediately. It corresponds to our usual concern, attention span, what is going on with our interests, right? At least we are we have an overview, and they are have to an extent some kind of excellent or over the top um, or exceptional That's the word that I was looking for. Exceptional responsibility compared to other service provider or other people who would provide this data to data brokers. It is pretty bad, as we say, as we have read before. Why are my data, you know what I mean, is being transferred over here and over there? Why are these people know about me and stuff? Why am I getting why am I, because of me, these people are economically being better off, while probably I also want to have some of those things. Of course I use Microsoft's services, yes, but like, is that all that I get? Right, they would say yes, that's all that you got. But but like, what, at a point, right, we want to be able to also capitalize our own data better. And that is the sentiment that most likely would appear when dealing with privacy issues and also privacy data that is being transferred from one place to another, to the people that we don't know, right? To the people that we cannot audit, right? Like, for example, among our friends, or if we visit a store in our own town and they have security cameras, obviously they could get the data that, like, maybe Google and Microsoft wouldn't take, like, wouldn't focus on. And they would focus more on your features. Maybe, for example, they would know who you are, who are your families, and like these local places, right? And they would probably use some of those information against you. And like, less likely it's going to, it's like Microsoft, Google would be better than them, if they are like malicious. But I'm not saying, okay, I'm sorry. So, but um the thing is, we have some sort of reach, we have some sort of grasp over our own data, if even if it is being misused. And like, relatively, people would say that there's nothing you can do about it, but at least we know the people who are doing it. But in this time of internet, um, more and more people that we don't know is taking advantage of the things that came from us. I know, like, content creators, have large audiences that they don't know personally, and so but it is something that these content creators, like, would want to would want to uh, would want to would risk enduring for the sake of a benefit. On the other hand, when we go into sites and stuff, we don't really read all of this stuff. Okay, we just want to be able to take. We just want to take this information, and we just look at the page, like we look at the page from a book, not not immediately understanding that we are putting ourselves into all of these concerns. Now, that is the problem that are trying to bring forward for the people, that we should be able to come together, right? Even though this, it doesn't always mean bad, right? But we gotta have some level of uh, monitoring, at least, so that when things that we want to refuse took place, we would be able to refuse it. Because now we don't have monitoring, like a proper monitoring system that answers properly uh, to this kind of power, to this kind of magnitude of commerce, of data transfer, and international jumps around, involving us, and we don't have an answer to that. That is my concern. That is what I'm trying to deliver. That is what I'm trying to send to you guys out there on the internet. We got to be able to have the proper measures in terms of this. It is not, I'm not saying this is always bad, but I'm saying that our concerns should be able to be to have leverage, to have influence, and we should be able to reject when we want to reject. Otherwise, we're like dead corpses that can't be, or a sleeping body that 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 is not gonna react on time when things happen. So that is Microsoft change for October 2025. Comprehensive professionally at all. I just want to look at it from the lens of that update. But I should probably do more because there's a lot to cover. Thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.